to. Please come forward with one loud salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wajil farajahum. Without any further delay, if I can please invite young Ashal to the podium, please welcome him with one loud salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
چلو چلے چلو چلے چلو چلے مدینے دعا کرو بلائے وہ ہمیں اسی مہینے چلو چلے چلو چلے چلو چلے مدینے دعا کرو بلائے وہ ہمیں اسی مہینے ہمیں دے صدائیں وہاں کی ہوائیں قدم جب پر آئے تو پہ رک نہ پائے کرم ہم پہ ہوگا اگر لو لگائے چلو چلے چلو چلے چلو چلے مدینے دعا کرو بلائے وہ ہمیں اسی مہینے مدینہ 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 جہاں گت ہے دم کبھی آنکھ ہے نم چلو دیکھ لے ہم مدینے کا موسم مٹا دیں گے ہر غم شہنشاہ عالم چلو چلے چلو چلو چلے چلو چلے چلو چلے مدینے دعا کرو بلائے وہ ہمیں اسی مہینے مدینہ 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 وہاں سے جو آیا یہ اس نے بتایا مقدر بنایا جو مانگا وہ پایا نہیں جس کا سایہ کیا اس نے سایہ چلو چلے چلو چلے چلو چلے مدینے دعا کرو بلائے وہ ہمیں اسی مہینے مدینہ 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 سب مل کے بولو مدینہ 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 کلمہ کل قرآن جگ زبان نعرہ حیدری
One loud salawat for young Ashal Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat. Next, if I can please invite Sayyid Hawad Kazmi to the podium, please welcome him with a loud salawat.
نعرہ صلوات جزاک اللہ ماشاء بی بی زین السلام علیکم کا خطبہ ہے اس کوشش کرتا ہوں پڑھنے کی ایک دو شعر پڑھوں گا بس نعرہ صلوات علی کی بیٹی ہوں خطبہ سنانے آئی ہوں علی کی بیٹی ہوں خطبہ سنانے آئی ہوں میں تیرا شجرہ جہاں کو میں تیرا شجرہ جہاں کو بتانے آئی ہوں علی کی بیٹی ہوں خطبہ سنانے آئی ہوں اگر طوفان کربل اگر طوفان تئے کربل تو روک لے مجھ کو، علم عباس کا گھر گھر لگانے آئی ہوں، یا علی یا علی، علم عباس کا گھر گھر لگانے آئی ہوں، علی کی بیٹی ہوں خطبہ سنانے آئی ہوں، میں تیرا شجرہ جہاں کو بتانے آئی ہوں، علی کی بیٹی ہوں خطبہ۔ اگر میں چاہوں تو بول بھی نہیں سکتا، اگر میں چاہوں تو بول بھی نہیں سکتا، تیری اوقات میں تجھ کو دکھانے آئی ہوں، تیری اوقات میں تجھ کو دکھانے آئی ہوں۔ بہت پیارا شعر ہے۔ تیری مجال تو بھائی میرے کو باغی کہے، تیری مجال تو بھائی میرے کو باغی کہے، میں تیرے نام کو لعنت بنانے آئی ہوں، میں تیرے نام کو گالی بنانے آئی ہوں۔ تجھے یہ بھول ہے بیعت تجھے پڑ گئی مہنگی، تجھے یہ بھول ہے بیعت تجھے پڑ گئی مہنگی، میں تیرے تخت کو تختہ بنانے آئی ہوں، میں تیرے تخت کو تختہ بنانے آئی ہوں۔ اگر میں چاہوں تو عباس زندہ ہو جائے، اگر میں چاہوں تو عباس زندہ ہو جائے، ہے اختیار میرا تجھ کو بتانے آئی ہوں۔ بڑے پیارے شعر اس میں۔ اگر میں چاہوں مدینے میں شام لے جاؤں، اگر میں چاہوں مدینے میں شام لے جاؤں، تیرے ہی شہر میں تیرے ہی شہر میں تجھ کو مٹانے آئی ہوں، تیرے ہی شہر میں تجھ کو مٹانے آئی ہوں۔ بسم اللہ پہلی دفعہ پڑھ رہا ہوں۔ ہاں، تجھے میں زندہ رکھوں گی لعنتوں کے لیے، تجھے میں زندہ رکھوں گی لعنتوں کے لیے، میں فاتح شام ہوں تجھ سے لکھانے آئی ہوں، میں فاتح شام ہوں تجھ سے لکھانے آئی ہوں۔ آخری شعر ہے۔ کسی شریف سے بیعت نہ مانگے پھر کوئی، کسی شریف سے بیعت نہ مانگے پھر کوئی، سبق یزید کو قاسم سکھانے آئی ہوں، سبق یزید کو قاسم سکھانے آئی ہوں، علی کی بیٹی ہوں، خطبہ سنانے آئی ہوں، میں تیرا شجرہ جہاں کو بتانے آئی ہوں، علی کی بیٹی ہوں، خطبہ سنانے آئی ہوں. صلوات اللہ.
Malana Sahib, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum. First, please join me, as it is Shabbat Jummah, please join me reciting Surah Al-Fatiha, 1 Surah Ikhlas, 3 times for all marhumeen, especially for those killed in Gaza and Lebanon. Al-Fatiha. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Just one announcement. Tomorrow we will be celebrating Wiladat Nabi at the center at 7 p.m. So please do join us tomorrow night for Wiladat Nabi program. Seated niyaz will be served at the end of the program. So please do join us with your entire family. Next, if I can please invite Shaykh Ali Hadi for tonight's majlis. Please welcome him with 3 loud salawats. Allahumma salli.
یا رسول اللہ، یا علی، یا علی، زندہ باد، زندہ باد، مردہ باد.
برائے خوشنودی مولا امام جعفر صادق علیہ السلام بلندتر صلوات.
اللہم صل علی محمد وآل محمد. اعوذ باللہ من الشیطان الرجیم. بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم. الحمد للہ رب العالمین بارئ الخلائق اجمعین باعث الانبیاء والمرسلین ثم الصلاة والسلام والتحیات والاکرام على اشرف الانبیاء والمرسلین سیدنا ونبینا وحبیبنا وحبیب الہ العالمین ابی القاسم المصطفى محمد صلی اللہ علیہ وعلى آلہ الطیبین الطاہرین المعصومین المظلومین المنتجبین لا سیما بقیت اللہ فی الارضین حجت ابن الحسن روحی وارواحنا لتراب مقدمہ الفداء الذي بيمنه رزق الوراء وبوجوده ثبتت الأرض والسماء. السلام عليك يا أبا جعفر يا إمامنا الصادق صلوات اللهم صل ایام بابرکت ایام ہیں، ایام عید میلاد النبی ہے اور ولادت امام صادق علیہ السلام کے ایام بھی ہیں. ابتدا میں مولا امام الزمان کی بارگاہ میں دعا مانگتے ہیں، پروردگارا بحق محمد و آل محمد ایام میلاد النبی علیہ السلام کی ہمارے لیے باعث بابرکت قرار دے. پروردگارا بحق محمد و آل محمد رسول خدا کا واسطہ لیتے ہیں، ہمارے تمام گناہان کبیرہ و صغیرہ معاف کر دے. پروردگار بحق محمد و آل محمد ہمیں رسول خدا کی شفاعت اس دنیا اور آخرت میں نصیب فرما. پروردگار بحق محمد و آل محمد ہمیں چھٹے امام کے پیروان میں سے قرار دے. پروردگار بحق محمد و آل محمد آخرت میں ہماری زیارت رسول خدا سے نصیب فرما. صلوات پڑھ لیجیے محمد و آل محمد میں. اللہم صلی علی. عزیزان محترم، ایام میلاد النبی ہیں، میلاد مسعود سرور کائنات. سب کو مبارکباد عرض کرنا چاہتا ہوں، اور مولا امام زمان علیہ السلام کی بارگاہ میں بھی ہدیہ تبریک و تہنیت عرض کرتا ہوں. رحمت العالمین، رحمت للعالمین کی ایام ہیں، جو دنیا کے صادق الامین ہیں. دنیا کے صادق الامین، وہ صادق جس نے دین مبین اسلام کی نعمت ہمیں بخشا ہے. دین مبین اسلام کی نعمت ہماری زندگیوں میں ایسی نعمت ہمیں عطا کی ہے. قرآن کی نعمت، اللہ کی نازل ہوئی کتاب کی نعمت، اللہ کا منتخب دین ہمارے لیے یہ رسول خدا نے بخشا ہے ہماری زندگی میں. اہل بیت، امامت، ولایت، تمام نعمتوں کا سرفصل اور آغاز خود رسول خدا ہیں. تمام نعمتوں کا آغاز اور سرفصل رسول اللہ کی ذات ہے. اور روایتوں میں ملتا ہے کہ کوئی شخص امیر المؤمنین علیہ الصلوۃ والسلام کی بارگاہ میں آیا اور سوال پوچھا کہ اے مولا، آپ رسول خدا کے فضائل گن سکتے ہیں میرے لیے؟ تو پھر امیر المؤمنین علیہ الصلوۃ والسلام نے کیا جواب دیا؟ مولا نے فرمایا کہ آیا دنیا کے نعمات کو آپ گن سکتے ہیں؟ تو اس نے کہا کہ ہم خود تو میں گن نہیں سکتا دنیا کے کتنے نعمات اور کتنے فضائل ہیں دنیا میں، کیونکہ قرآن میں اللہ کی ذات نے فرمایا ہے وَإِن تَعُدُّوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ لَا تُحْصُوهَا، کہ اگر آپ کوشش کریں گے کہ دنیا کے نعمات اور فضائل کو آپ گنیں گے تو آپ یہ نہیں کر پاؤ گے کہ آپ گن لیں گے تمام دنیا کے نعمات. تو پھر میرے مولا نے فرمایا کہ اگر آپ اس دنیا کو، جس کے بارے میں اللہ کی ذات نے فرمایا متاع قلیل، کہ یہ دنیا پست اور حقیر دنیا، اگر اس کے فضائل اور نعمات اب گن نہیں سکتے تو پھر ان کے بارے میں کیسے گن سکتے ہیں جن کے بارے میں قرآن میں اللہ کی ذات نے فرمایا وَإِنَّكَ لَعَلَىٰ خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ، کہ آپ کو بہترین مخلوق خدا رسول خدا صلی اللہ علیہ وآلہ وسلم کی ذات ہے. صلوات پڑھیے محمد. اور انہی ایام میں ولادت باسعادت امام جعفر صادق علیہ السلام بھی ہے. اللہ جو مکتب آل محمد کے بانی، تشیع کا افتخار، امامت کا افتخار، ہمارے چھٹے امام ہیں. شاید تصور یہ ہے کہ رسول خدا اور امام صادق علیہ السلام آج کے جیسے دن میں خلق ہوئے تھے. ہاں، اس دنیا میں آنکھیں کھلی تھی، لیکن رسول خدا نے خود فرمایا کنت نبیا و آدم بین الطین والماء، کہ میں نبی تب تھا جب نبی آدم کو مٹی اور پانی سے خلق کر رہے تھے. میں تب نبی تھا جب مٹی اور پانی کے ساتھ نبی آدم کو خلق کر رہے تھے. بشریت کا آغاز سے پہلے اہل بیت علیہ السلام کے نور کو اللہ کی ذات نے خلق کیا تھا. اور یہی حقیقت ہمارے ائمہ اطہار علیہ السلام کے ساتھ درست ہے. عزیزان محترم، چھٹے امام افتخار تشیع ہیں، افتخار امامت ہیں. مکتب آل محمد کا بہترین علمی اور جہادی نمونہ ہمارے چھٹے امام جعفر صادق علیہ السلام ہیں. ہماری معلومات ہمارے چھٹے امام کے بارے میں بہت کم ہیں، جتنا ہونا چاہیے اتنا نہیں ہے. ہم جیسے شیعہ جو ہم اپنے آپ کو ریکگنائز کرتے ہیں امام جعفر صادق علیہ السلام کے ساتھ، ہماری معلومات بہت کم ہیں. اگر یہ دین کے لیے یہ مجتہدین، علماء، فقہا، اگر آج یہ دین کے لیے باعث افتخار ہیں، ایک سرمایہ ہے دین کے لیے، تو چھٹے امام عالم آل محمد علیہ السلام ہیں. تمام ائمہ اطہار علیہ السلام میں دو ایسے امام ہیں جن کو عالم آل محمد کہا جاتا ہے. ایک امام رضا علیہ السلام کی ذات ہے، اور ایک امام جعفر صادق علیہ السلام جن کو عالم آل محمد کہا جاتا ہے. وہ ہستی جنہوں نے 4000 طلاب کو تربیت دیا ہے اپنی زندگی میں. 1000 سے زیادہ فقیہ اور مجتہدین کی تربیت کی اپنے زمانے میں، اور ہزاروں میں سے ایک جابر ابن حیان بنے۔ جابر ابن حیان جو کیمسٹری، کیمیا، علم نباتات، علم نجوم، ان کے یہ سب علوم کے بانی ہیں۔ چھٹے امام تمام فرقوں کے اماموں کے استاد بھی ہیں۔ مالک ابن انس جو آج مالکی فرقے کے امام ہیں، چھٹے امام کے شاگرد تھے۔ ابو حنیفہ جو اہل سنت کے بڑے حدیث کے راویوں میں سے ہیں، وہ بھی امام صادق علیہ السلام کے شاگردوں میں سے ہیں۔ لیکن ہمیشہ کے لیے شاگرد بھی دو قسم کے ہوتے ہیں۔ ایک شاگرد وہ ہے جو آل محمد علیہ السلام سے علم حاصل کر کے جدا ہو جاتا ہے، اور ایک شخص ہے جس کا نام ہے ابو بصیر، جو اپنے امام صادق علیہ السلام کی بارگاہ میں تسلیم ہوا علم حاصل کر کے۔ جو بصیرت کا باپ ہے، امام صادق علیہ السلام نے یہ لقب دیا تھا اس کو، ابو بصیر، کہ وہ صاحب بصیرت۔ ایک ایسا شاگرد ہے جیسے جابر ابن حیان کی ہستی ہیں جو علم نجوم کے بانی بن جاتے ہیں۔ صلوات پڑھ لیجیے محمد و آل محمد پہ۔ البتہ اس نقطے پہ توجہ کرنے کی ضرورت ہے کہ امام نے صرف دینی تعلیم نہیں دی، اسلامی تعلیم نہیں دی۔ آج جو تمام دروس جو یونیورسٹیز میں پڑھایا جاتا ہے، جو یونیورسٹیوں میں تعلیم دی جاتی ہے، چھٹے امام نے اپنے زمانے میں اپنے طلاب کو یہ درس دیا ہے۔ انہوں نے یہ جو آج بڑے افتخار کے ساتھ لوگ کہتے ہیں کہ میں مالکی ہوں، میں حنفی ہوں، فرض کریں، ہم یہ کہتے ہیں کہ یہ سب ہمارے امام کے شاگردوں میں سے ہیں۔ رسول خدا نے خود فرمایا اپنی زندگی میں، من علمنی حرفا فصرت عبدا۔ یہ شیعوں کی کتابوں میں روایت یہ ہم سنتے ہیں، اور سنی کی کتابوں میں بھی سنتے ہیں، من علمنی حرفا فصرت عبدا۔ رسول خدا نے فرمایا اگر کوئی بھی مجھے ایک حرف بھی سکھا دے تو میں اس کا غلام بننے کے لیے تیار ہوں۔ یعنی در حقیقت، در اصل تمام فرقوں کے ائمہ امام صادق علیہ السلام کے غلاموں میں سے ہیں۔ من علمنی حرفا فصرت عبدا۔ صلوات پڑھ لیجیے محمد و آل محمد پہ۔ صلی علی Our sixth Imam, Jafar al-Sadiq alayhi salam. Allahumma salli ala. Although his Wiladat is coinciding with the Wiladat of the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, and it is overshadowed by the Rasulullah himself, but the greatness of our sixth Imam is of such that he is considered as Alim Al Muhammad, the knowledgeable Imam of Al Muhammad alayhi salam. And from him it is narrated, there's a hadith that speaks about this one man who saw the tolerance and the love of our sixth Imam. I'd like to mention this as a gift and a hidiyah for this jashan, inshallah. There was a man who was walking inside an alleyway and he sees the sixth Imam, and this man, he was drunk according to this riwayat, and he had a jug of wine inside of his hand. When he saw the sixth Imam, he tried to escape, but he realized that there's no other way left in the alleyway to turn. So what he does is he turns his face around and he hides away from the sixth Imam, and he hides the wine jug inside of his cloak. Imam Sadiq, he walks up to him and he says that, I know who you are, I recognize you, you are one of my Shi'as, but show me what you have within inside of your hands. The man, he turns around and he's in a state of drunkenness, and he has a wine jug hidden within inside of his cloak. He's wrapped it around. He says to the Imam that I have a jug of milk within inside of my hand. Imam says that spill this milk onto the floor so I can see what you have within inside of the jug. So you can imagine that he's been caught red-handed by the Imam himself. He starts to spill, and what does he see outside of it? Milk starts flowing out the jug. Ya Imam alayhi salam, he asks him a question. He says that, how do you view us Ahlul Bayt? How do you look at us Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam? He says that I am the one who believes in the Imam, who saves my reputation when I had wine inside of my jug. when I did haram, when I did something within inside of my life that was considered as a gunah kabira, my Imam came and saved my reputation for me instead. And this is where he stated, Allah a'lamu haythu yaj'alu risalatih. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows where to put the risalat of the Rasulullah, in which house. He says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows which house to put the risalat of nubuwwat within inside of. Similar to this story, we can see in the life of our second Imam, Imam Mujtaba alayhi salatu wassalam. Allahumma salli ala. These verses were repeated twice. Allahu a'lamu haythu yaj'alu risalatih. Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows which house to put the risalat in. Imam Hassan al-Mujtaba alayhi salam, this is a riwayat narrated about him. There was a man who went to the courtyard of Uthman and he asked him for money because he was a beggar. He did not have money within inside of his life. And he was a poor man. Uthman, he reached the Baytul Mal and he picked out 1 dirham and he provided it to this man. This man who looks at this 1 dirham and he says that this 1 dirham is not going to do much for me. It's only going to allow me to go and buy a few things and that's going to be the end of it. But I asked Uthman, the Khalifa, to go ahead and help me with inside of my life, but he didn't do so. He walks outside and he says that I see Imam Mujtaba and Imam Hussein alayhi salatu salam walking together. And he goes to Imam Mujtaba alayhi salam and he complains to the Imam. He says, I went to the courtyard of the Caliph, to the Khalifa, and he only gave me 1 dirham. He didn't give me more than that. Imam Mujtaba alayhi salam, he orders for his khadim to bring him what was left within inside of his house. This man, he says that Imam Mujtaba alayhi salam gave me 500 dirhams. When I looked at the 500 dirhams from Imam Mujtaba alayhi salam, I became astonished that how can he have given me so much, because you can imagine that 1 dirham is equal to 1 mithqal. 1 mithqal is around 4.5 grams worth of gold. So Imam Mujtaba alayhi salam gave him 500 dirhams to enrich his life. This is when this same hadith or the same verse was repeated again. Allahu a'lamu yaj'alu haytha risalatih. Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows which house does the risalat of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam belong to. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Our 6th Imam, he had the longest imamat out of all of the Imams. Up till 65 years our Imam lived. Outside of this, Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam also lived up to the age of 64. And then the rest of the A'immah Athar outside of the last 4, they lived up to 55 years. So Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, he lived a long life according to the rest of, in comparison to the rest of the Imam. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, his mother was by the name of Farwa. Farwa is the granddaughter of Muhammad ibn Abi Bakr, the stepson of Imam Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salatu salam. Muhammad ibn Abi Bakr, daughter or the granddaughter of Muhammad ibn Abi Bakr, becomes the wife of Imam Baqir alayhi salam, which becomes the mother of Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. Now the wife of Imam Sadiq is by the name of Hamida. Hamida salamullah alayha, she's such a knowledgeable personality that when they went to Hajj with Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, the 6th Imam, he gave all of the duty of answering the Shari'i questions to the wife of Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. Imam says that ask my wife Hamida for any questions you have related to Hajj, for all of the women who are traveling towards Hajj in that year. So Bibi Hamida salamullah alayha is a personality to also to be recognized with when speaking about our 6th Imam. Hamida salamullah alayha, or Humayda in other words, like I said, she was one of the most knowledgeable personalities of the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. 6th Imam, Imam Jafar as-Sadiq alayhi salam. Recite salawat all together please. He lived in a time where the governance of Banu Umayyah was coming to an end and the Khilafat of Banu Abbas was starting. So when Banu Umayyah was coming to an end and Banu Abbas was starting, they had a conflict or a war between each other, a struggle for power. When this struggle for power had happened, their focus on imamat had come to an end. They did not look at who was the next imam of the Shi'as. They did not look at who was the next imam of the Ahlul Bayt. So therefore, the imam, he had the chance and the time to spread the ulum of Ali Muhammad in this time. This became an opportunity for the imam to open up a university, to start teaching people, to bringing people towards the ilm of Ali Muhammad alayhi salam. To which why we see that the first university that is opened up within the lives of our Aimma Athar alayhi salam is in the life of Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu salam. A university which held 4,000 students. 4,000 students, amongst them became 1,000 mujtahideen, 1,000 fuqaha. Today if we have one marja taqleed, it's a big deal. But at that time, Imam Sadiq alayhi salam had nurtured 1,000 fuqaha, 1,000 mujtahideen. And amongst those 1,000 mujtahideen, one of them became Jabir ibn Hayyan, the father of alchemy, the father of chemistry, the teacher of metaphysics, the teacher of botany. Different ulum had come from this man, Jabir ibn Hayyan, who says that I am a dust from the feet of Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu salam. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Also, until the time of our sixth Imam, dear brothers and sisters, the sect of Tashayyu was a maktab that was not recognized formally. It was not something that was known. The Shias were scattered in multiple areas. Somewhere in Medina, somewhere in Qom, for example, somewhere in Kufa, somewhere in Najaf, somewhere in Karbala. Different areas of the world, Shias had existed, but it was not considered as a formal maktab or a formal sect. The one who had erected the flag of Tashayyu to begin with, or put that foundational layer of Tashayyu, was Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu salam. To which is why we are related towards Imam Sadiq when we narrate our maktab. When we like to say our maktab, we say Ithna Ashari Ja'fari. We say we are from the Ja'fari school of thought. Because Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, within inside of his life, he was the one who had formally made this as a sect. He made it as an identifiable sect. But not only is our sixth Imam oppressed because he doesn't have a dhari, he doesn't have a haram, but he is oppressed in a way because we do not recognize him, we do not read about his seerah, about his life and the fadail of our sixth Imam, Jafar as-Sadiq alayhi salam. If we come to any majlis, what do we hear? We hear قال الباقر قال الصادق. Somebody came to Abu Hanifa and he had asked him that, I heard from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam that he narrated a hadith from Rasulullah. But when you like to narrate a hadith, Abu Hanifa, you narrate it from Fulan ibn Fulan, and you like to narrate that from the other person, and he gets back to the Rasulullah. There's a chain of narrations. But when Imam Sadiq likes to narrate from Rasulullah, he says, Qala Rasulullah, like as if he heard it himself. Abu Hanifa himself, he says that even if Imam Sadiq narrates a hadith from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even if he narrates a hadith from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is correct. Because he is a man that is connected to the ilm of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is not of something less that he narrates from the Rasulullah. Which is why when we hear قال الصادق قال الباقر, we see that these phrases and these hadiths, they mirror the same ilm of the Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Salawat. So Jabir ibn Hayyan, being one of those students of the Imam, who is the father of chemistry, Jabir ibn Hayyan, the one who is called the father of chemistry today, the one who discovered nitric acid, the one who discovered hydrochloric acid, the one who discovered the water distillation apparatus. This is Jabir ibn Hayyan. All of these ulum are directly taught by our sixth Imam to Jabir ibn Hayyan. If today we have all of these ulum and these sciences that are being taught within inside of the universities, from a history perspective, the one who had started this, the father of chemistry, the father of physics, Jabir ibn Hayyan, the direct student of Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. Jabir ibn Hayyan is one of those students of the 4,000 that Imam Sadiq alayhi salam had taught. If today we have a hawza, if we have ulama, if we have mujtahideen, If we have fuqaha today that teach philosophy, logic, mantiq, syntax, morphology, these different ulum that you find within inside of the Hawza studies, it is directly from the beginning of that university that Imam Sadiq alayhi salam had created and institutionalized from the very beginning of his imamat. Please recite a salawat all together, please. Allah. And also we may think to ourselves that Imam Sadiq alayhi salam only taught Islam, right? He taught dini, sciences or religious sciences, for example. But no, Jabir ibn Hayyan, he took astronomy lessons from Imam Sadiq. He also took metaphysics classes from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. He also took chemistry classes from Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu salam. He took medicine classes from our sixth Imam. And like I said, Jabir was one scholar out of the thousands of fuqaha and mujtahideen that our Imam had nurtured and had taught within inside of his life. The rest of the students that were studying within inside of these classes, they were also learning, but they did not become as knowledgeable as Jabir ibn Hayyan, because he became so attached to Imam Sadiq alayhi salam that he would take special courses from the Imam himself. Today, if we have a look at our hadith, we have 30 volumes of hadith from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. 30 volumes of ahadith that if you go through them, you'll realize that it is so difficult to go through even just 10 pages of them. How many hadiths of these are sophisticated? How many of these hadiths are related to Imam Sadiq and his early time and his early stages of his life, and to later on? 30 volumes are attributed to Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. If we put all of the Maraji Taqleed that exist today, Ayatollah Sistani, Ayatollah Sayyid Ali Khamenei, for example, we take all of the mujtahideen and fuqaha, you place them on one scale, you would not be able to compare all of these Maraji Taqleed to Jabir ibn Ju'fi, who was a companion of Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam. Jabir ibn Ju'fi, not only was he a companion of the fifth, but he was a companion of the sixth Imam as well. He memorized 70,000 hadith within inside of his life. 70,000 hadith either written or he had memorized within inside of his mind. 70,000 hadith of Imam Baqir alayhi salam and Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu salam. Would you think it's possible for us to even memorize 70 hadith? No, it's very difficult. But for a man to have memorized that many ahadith, it shows that those people who were surrounding the A'immah Athhar alayhimus salam at that time were benefiting from that cultural and knowledgeable expansion of the A'immah Athhar alayhimus salam that was taking place within inside of Imam Sadiq alayhi salam and Imam Baqir's life. Please recite a salawat all together, please. A young man, he had come to our sixth Imam, and he had said that I do not believe in your imamat and neither do I believe in your God. He says this to Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, that I do not believe in yourself and I do not believe in your God that you claim. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, his response to this young man was very beautiful, to a point where this man had become the direct companion of our Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu salam. The akhlaq that Imam had continued on was from the same seerah of Nabi Mukarram Islam sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Imamat itself is a leadership that is a divine leadership, is a role model leadership. Not like the leadership of Mansur al-Dawanaqi, not like the leadership of Harun al-Rashid, but this leadership is an imamat of tolerance, is an imamat of muhabbat. That man who was walking in the alleyway who had met Imam Sadiq alayhi salam whilst he was in the state of drunkenness, right? Imam Sadiq alayhi salam could have spoken to him in a different way. If one of us mu'mineen had met one of our community members in that sense, for example, what would have our reaction would have been. But imamat, because it's a divine leadership, it's a leadership that is mansus min Allah. It is related to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Therefore, it's a leadership of tolerance, it's a leadership of love, it's a leadership of commitment to the mu'mineen. And, of course, Imam Sadiq alayhi salam being Sadiq Ali Muhammad alayhi salatu salam. Salawat all together, please. Imam, within inside of his life, he did not cease to teach only just the people around him, but he opened his arms towards Christians. He opened his arms towards a person who's a Sunni, for example. A person who's an atheist, he opened his arms towards them. He opened his arms to everybody to benefit from the ocean of knowledge of the sixth Imam. Because our Imams alayhimus salam, they are the role models of education. They are the role models of leadership as well within inside of their lives. He has an advice, our sixth Imam does, that I would like to gift to the youth who are sitting here today, and to all of the mu'mineen, in fact, this can be relatable towards. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam tells to his Shi'as, he says, Lastu uhibbu an ara shaba minkum. Imam says, I do not like to see the Shia youth outside of two situations. Illa ghadiyan fil halain. I like to see them within inside of only two situations. Outside of this, I do not like to see my Shia youth to be outside of this. Imma aliman, either he becomes a scholar or a knowledgeable figure, or muta'alliman, or he remains a student within inside of his life that is studying something. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, he gives an advice towards his Shi'as that become two people within inside of your life. Either be a student within inside of your life or become so knowledgeable that you can teach somebody else. If we want to benefit from the life of our sixth Imam, then look at the expansion of knowledge that our Imams did. Then look at the knowledge of Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu salam. He says that either become a student within inside of your life or either become a teacher within inside of your life. Dear mu'mineen, dear all of the A'izzah who are here within inside of this majlis today, ignorance or jahalat, it stems from not having knowledge. If somebody does not have knowledge, this is where the road or the route leads towards ignorance, towards jahalat. When the Imam, he tells us to educate yourself, Imam is not saying go to Iraq, go to Iran, for example, and go study within inside of the Hawza. No, the Imam is saying become an expert within the field that you're in. Or select a field and become an expert within inside of it. When you become an expert within inside of your field, you are a knowledgeable person. You are certified. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says that imma aliman aw muta'alliman, either become a knowledgeable person that you can teach somebody, or become a student for the rest of your life. When he says remain a student, dear brothers and sisters, it does not mean that you can remain in the masjid, for example. Imam is saying that educate yourself to such a point that you become a scholar of that field. You become a scholar of your community. You become a scholar of your family, for example. Or remain being a student within inside of your life. My dear youth, dear mu'mineen who are sitting over here, Imam Sadiq alayhi salam is asking you to become the role model of your society. He's saying become the role model of your community through education specifically. No matter how much you avoid education, our Al-Zahra alayhi salam, they tell us that no education leads towards jahalat, it leads towards ignorance. Al-Zahra alayhi salam, they tell us to either become educated to a point where you become a scholar within inside of your life, or remain a student within inside of your life. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. And then at the end, I would like to give a nasihat from our sixth Imam. He tells all of our Shias, at the final time of our sixth Imam, Bibi Hamida, she narrates that as Imam Sadiq was leaving this dunya, he had three words that he left this dunya with. He says, As-salat, as-salat, as-salat. He says, Shi'atuna, la tanalu shafa'atan man istakhaffa bis-salat. This is the advice from our sixth Imam, as today is his Jashan. He says, I guarantee that none of you Shi'as will receive the shafa'at of the Ahlul Bayt on the day of Qiyamah, man istakhaffa bis-salat. If you take namaz as a matter that is not important. When you take namaz as a matter that is not important within inside of your life, when you do not give it priority, when it is namaz al-dhuhr, for example, and you delay it to continue your work, Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, he says that because you do not give namaz a priority, the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam will also not give you a priority on the day of Qiyamah. La tanalu shafa'atan man istakhaffa bis salat. Every time you talk about the sixth Imam, you have to talk about salat. Because Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, when he does the ziyarat of Sayyid al-Shuhada, what does he say? He says, Ashhadu annaka qad aqamta as-salat wa atayta az-zakat, Ya Aba Abdullah. If we have learnt about salat, we learnt it through you, Ya Aba Abdullah. If we learnt how to give zakat, we learnt it from Abu Abdullah al-Husayn alayhi salatu salam. If anybody has established salat within inside of this dunya, it was Imam Hussain alayhi salatu salam. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam tells us that if we want to learn from the maktab of Ja'fari, of Hussaini, then we must give importance and priority towards our salat. La tanalu shafa'atan man istakhaffa bis salat. That our shafa'at will not reach towards the ones who do not give namaz priority. Ayatollah Qazi, who is buried within inside of Wadi Salam, and inshallah you have the tawfiq to go and do ziyarat of his grave one day. He says that if you recite your namaz 5 times a day, awwal waqt, on time, and you become determined to pray these namazs on time every day, if the umur or the issues within inside of your life are not removed or they're not eased, then come and do la'an or curse upon my grave. He says that definitely if you recite 5 times namaz, awwal waqt, on time, according to the nasiyat of our 6th Imam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ease all of your issues and ease all of the pressures within inside of your life. Which is why Mawla Amirul Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu salam, he says, Man aslaha ma baynahu wa bayna Allah, aslaha Allah ma baynahu wa bayna dunya. Very beautiful. He says, whoever corrects his relationship with himself and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will correct the relationships within inside of his life. And then he says, Man aslaha ma baynahu wa bayna akhiratihi, aslaha Allah ma baynahu wa bayna dunya. He says, whoever corrects his relationship with his akhirah, with his qabr, with his grave, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will correct all of his issues that remain within inside of his dunya. So 2 matters that we can learn from this hadith. Number 1, Man aslaha ma baynahu wa bayna dunya. Man aslaha wa baynahu ma baynahu wa bayna Allah. Whoever corrects his relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, aslaha Allah ma baynahu wa bayna nas. Allah will correct the relationships within inside of his dunya. His wife, for example, his mother, his father, brother, sister. Allah will correct these relationships. Man aslaha ma baynahu wa bayna akhiratihi. Whoever corrects his relationship with his qabr, with his akhirat, aslaha Allah ma baynahu wa bayna dunya. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will correct those issues that surround his dunya. And at the end, I would just like to mention that if we want to go ahead and become a Shia of Ali Muhammad alayhi salam, then we have to learn about the seerah of our 6th Imam, Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam. Because at the end of the day, us within inside of the society, we are a representative of Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. People look at you, and when they say you're a Shia, they look at you and they say you're a Rafidi, for example. They relate you to 2 Imams. One is Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, one is Imam Musa al-Kadhim alayhi salatu salam. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Therefore, if you are a representative of our 6th Imam, then our 6th Imam tells us, Shi'atuna la tanalu shafa'atan man istakhaffa bis salat. Do not take namaz lightly. Give it priority within inside of your life, as that will be the source of najat for you inside of this dunya and akhirah. I would like to do tawassul to Mawla Imam Sadiq alayhi salam at the end of this talk, at the end of this jashan, inshaAllah. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. يا مولانا يا إمامنا الصادق يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا. सब मिलकर कहें या वजीहा عند الله اشفع لنا. يا أبا الزهراء يا جد الحسنين يا رسول الله إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا. يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا. يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا. For all of the mu'mineen and mu'minat, especially the madlumeen of Palestine, the madlumeen of Gaza, the madlumeen of Lebanon, the mazlumeen of Parachinar, the mazlumeen of the Hazara community, the mazlumeen of Pakistan, the mazlumeen of Iraq, for the mazlumeen of Iran and all of the Bilad Islami, recite 5 times Amman Yujib. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Amman Yujibul مضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء. أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء. أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء. أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه. أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم انصر الإسلام والمسلمين واخذل الكفار والمشركين والمنافقين. اللهم انصر من نصر الإسلام واخذل من خذل الإسلام. وعجل في فرج مولانا صاحب الزمان واجعلنا من أعوانه وأنصاره والمستشهدين بين يديه. رحم الله من قرأ الفاتحة مع الصلوات.